Step 1. Define the organization structure of your dairy farm. Who does what?
All organizations are hierarchical. At each level, people serve under those above them. An organization is therefore a structured institution. If it is not structured, it is a mob. Mobs do not get things done. They destroy things.
Many owners and managers ask, "Can we skip this part? We are a dairy farm, not some large corporation. Besides, I know who is who and who does what." No. Although we as owners and managers usually know how the operation is supposed to operate and who is supposed to do what, the main purpose is for you and your employees to be on the same page in understanding who is who and how things are to be done. The organization chart is the foundation of your business management structure. Purpose of an organization chart. An organization chart is the map or blueprint of your dairy farm. It shows all the people who work in your organization, from the boss at the top to the newest person or general helper. It helps employees understand where they fit into the picture. It shows the processes and teams on your farm, and it shows the purpose of each position and employee. Why have an organizational chart? So that employees who work in your farm or have contact with it know who does what job, who is responsible for what, who makes decisions, who has authority over whom. Most organizations have a few people at the top, the ones who make the most important decisions and have the most responsibility, and more people at the lower levels, where they may or may not make decisions and have less responsibility. Note, the better employees understand where they fit into the big picture of your farm, the better they will perform their tasks and understand their purpose. Most organizations have a few people at the top. They are the ones who make the most important decisions and have the most responsibility. And more people at the lower levels, where they may or may not make many decisions and have less responsibility. That means that most organizations are this shape, a pyramid. Boss, managers, workers. And it looks like the organizational chart below in Figure 3. The chart above shows that the boss has overall authority over everyone. Manager A reports to the boss and oversees workers V and W. Manager B reports to the boss and oversees workers X, Y, and Z. Manager A and B are the key positions, or key personnel. Defining your organization by function or process. When creating your organizational chart, it is best to create it by function, what we do, instead of by personnel, who does it. It is typical to relate what happens with who makes it happen. But it is better to relate what happens with accountability and responsibilities, functions, processes. Challenges with organizing the business around personnel are: job functions change when people do. Simple things like vacations, sick leave, or when someone quits, disrupt the process. New employees are harder to train. Workers tend to do what they believe is right, and that isn't always in the best interest or profitability of the farm. Results are not consistent. The best organizational structure is planned around function, responsibilities, and accountabilities. A well-designed map of your dairy farm is a well-thought-out and organized plan that has structure. Reduces your complex dairy farm into small areas of specialization that people can relate to. Simplifies work. Organizes work in groups of cattle, fresh, maternity, calves, heifers, dry cows, etc. Allows you to hire the correct person based on qualifications required. Enables you to identify what each team member is responsible to accomplish. Creates teams and teamwork. Enables you to create objectives, goals, and training programs much more easily. Makes your dairy farm operate and perform like a professional business. Note: this can be done at your first meeting. It is best if done on a whiteboard, flip chart, or any large piece of paper. If you do not have any of those items, a regular piece of paper will work. Management tip: prior to the meeting, work out the org chart by yourself to give you an idea of what it may look like. Step 1. To begin your organization chart, draw a box at the top of your whiteboard. Inside the box, place the job function manager. Step 2. Next, draw several boxes below and label them with the different job process that make up your dairy farm. Connect the boxes with lines as in Figure 5. When creating the different functions or processes on your dairy farm, think of the different areas of work that get done. The following is a list of different processes on most dairy farms. Milking, maternity, fresh cows, reproduction, feeding, calvus, heifers, dry cows, hoof trimming, maintenance, crops, manure, office. Note: organization and functions may differ depending on the size and the makeup of the farm. The example farm above has heifers and crops. If your dairy does not raise its own heifers or crops, they would not be included in the organizational chart. Step 3. Fill in each department or job function with a name. These are the key personnel in your dairy farm. These personnel have the responsibility to manage the animals and/or activities under their care, manage the personnel under them, which make up their team, maintain all equipment their team needs to perform their tasks, schedules the daily work for their team, monitors, tracks, and reports the results of their department. Question: what if my farm is not large enough to have one person in charge of each process? Or I do not have a person on staff to fill in a name that is in charge of that department? Answer: size of operation will determine the scope of your org chart, but first you must evaluate the farm. Example: let's say that you do not have anyone in charge of milking. Ask yourself and your management, do we need someone in charge of just milking? If yes, then you know you have a vacant position that needs filled. If no, then the milking process will fall under someone else's responsibility. See Figure 7. Step 4. Below each of the functions, draw boxes to describe the positions in each department. Step 5. The final step is to add names of all current personnel so that each box is filled with a name. Every employee must be identified by name somewhere on this chart. If they are on the payroll, they are on the chart. After you have completed this step and are satisfied with how it looks, and you have all employees listed, use one of the org chart templates to create a computer file of your organization. Organization charts are a living document. This means that they are always changing, adding new employees, new positions, company growth, downsizing, etc., and therefore need to be modified as the change occurs to keep it current and accurate. Management tip: as a manager, ensure that each of your department process leaders has a copy to review with their team and post in their department. Having a large printout of the diagram in the office is very helpful, or even keeping it on the same whiteboard you created it on. Having new employees review or have access to it is an excellent way for them to immediately start to understand your dairy better. Understand where they fit into the big picture. Understand who their co-workers and team members are. Understand who is directly in charge of them and their department. This, in turn, will help them to feel a part of the team. Increase productivity. Increase morale. Show them their purpose for their existence at your farm. Key points of Step 1. 1. Define the structure of your organization. 2. Organize teams of people by functions to create specialization, accountability, teamwork, clarity, purpose. 3. Department supervisors and managers, or team leaders, are the key employees. 4. Distribute and/or display the organization chart for all employees to see.